this sketchbook months ago when I was visiting Thailand but did not open it until today. This sketchbook is from a German brand. I cannot pronounce its name, it's kind of complicated for me. So I will just write the name here and you can read it and let me know how it is pronounced in the comment section. I would really appreciate your help with this one. And yeah, the papers are barely 200 GSM, so I'm not sure how well these would hold watercolors, which is why I am also a little nervous, because if the paper starts to bend, I won't really like it. I don't enjoy that feeling, and this is why I tape down the edges first so I can control any bending that might happen due to water. It would kind of reduce the bending a little, so that's just slightly more helpful for me. And since I have taped down the edges, the paintings would also look more finished. Anyway, I am painting Alice. I found her photos on Pinterest and I will leave her username here so you can check her amazing page out. Her pictures are really inspiring, so I feel like so honored to paint her. And I also feel like there's so much life in those pictures. I just love how beautifully she clicks and edits these pictures. So thank you so much for making such inspiring pictures, I guess, creating such inspiring art. And moving on, the reason why I couldn't open this watercolor sketchbook right when I got it is because I was severely burnt out with watercolors at that time. And at that point in time, I had just moved out of my home and the only art supplies I had were watercolors. I moved out with minimal amount of stuff and watercolors were just one of them. I was busy with a few watercolor commissions and one-on-one watercolor workshops, and because of all these reasons, for a couple of months I only used watercolors. After this, I was so tired of this medium and wanted to explore with gouache. So when I finally got all my supplies from back home, I stuck to gouache, and now I feel like I'm finally ready to get back to watercolors once again. For this particular video, I really wanted to include two paintings like a spread, a sketchbook spread, but I felt like that would make the video way too long for everyone to watch, and especially considering how everyone has such a low attention span nowadays. With the presence of so much short format content, I feel like it's just harder for us all to focus on something that lasts longer. And it's a very mutual feeling among so many of us. And so this is why there will be a second part of this video up very soon. So keep an eye out for that if you're interested in more watercolor portraits. I tried to include as much of the process as possible of this painting in this video, so you get a better idea of how I painted this thoroughly. This was such a trust the process painting for me, and it took a lot of effort for me to push through the ugly stage. And just to ease the process for myself, I started painting with the darker colors in the middle, as that part really puts things into perspective for me, helps me understand how the rest of the process should go. And for this painting, I used multiple sets from different brands of watercolors, and one of them was the Complexions palette from Art Philosophy, in which I used Complexion and Woodland palette with some of my Daniel Smith colors. All of these palettes are my favorite. While I love how the Daniel Smith looks when I place it on paper, The color options in the art philosophy were just perfect for a painting like this, which is so fall coded. The different themed palettes by art philosophy are just beautiful for moody paintings with a very obvious theme. Right now, I own 3 different palettes from art philosophy, and apart from the 2 mentioned, I also have vintage pastels, which just has the most beautiful selection of pastel colors, which are rarely found in watercolors. And with such interesting colors, I would love to try many different palettes from their brand. It's just lovely to experiment with new and different colors always. When I bought this sketchbook, I assumed it was 100% cotton with 200 GSM, so it might work out for watercolors well, but I was wrong about the cotton part, and I realized that as soon as I started painting in it. Regardless of the fact that this is cellulose paper, I still love it for watercolors as it gives the watercolors very beautiful effect. Although I do feel like the paper does not reflect the colors as well, and a lot of pigment gets lost somewhere. So I have to add more than 1 layer of the paint to give it the intensity that I want. And moreover, I read about the sketchbook on the brand's website, and it says that the paper is acid-free and vegan, so that's a huge plus for everyone who prefers no animal byproduct in their art supplies. While painting this portrait, I really just wanted to focus on the hair a lot because I feel like it is such a big part of the whole picture. It really just makes the picture 10 times more beautiful, and so I tried to create as many details as possible for that part, but still tried to steer away from painting each and every strand of hair, as that can end up looking stringy and unflattering. It really can take away a lot from the whole vibe of the painting, and painting the hair by dividing it into smaller sections is so much more easier than going into the absolute details of it. Painting the hair is also one of the part that I dread the most in the whole process. I sometimes just don't know how to approach it, and my brain starts to lag a little. I think I need to do some more hair studies off camera to understand how I can approach different kinds of hair better. I have a lot of upcoming events for everyone more interested in learning art, and one of them includes a Skillshare course which I will start filming in a few days, and I also really want to start a membership for people who want to watch more and more of my videos and learn more from me in the coming future. I have set my mind on a lot of things for next year, which I will talk about more in detail in the upcoming video. I just really want to plan out the upcoming months and treat the next year as a fresh beginning. to put my mind into newer and more constructive things instead of just social media. Like Instagram has been so destructive for my art, and I just want to steer away from that for the next year. As of now, my main art income is from art commissions. While I want to continue working on commissions, I also want to focus more on YouTube and memberships and more into teaching what all I know about art. Also, while I continue on this 100 heads challenge with 1 or 2 portraits every video, I would love to know what kind of videos you are interested in watching on my channel in the future. Knowing what you guys are interested in might make it easier for me to draft ideas for the upcoming videos. While going through the analytics of my channel, I discovered that over 90% of people who watch my videos are not subscribed. So I would really appreciate if you could take out a few seconds of your precious time to just check out my channel and subscribe if you like. I would immensely appreciate your support. And if you do not want to subscribe, then I totally understand. I'm just very grateful that you are watching my videos, so thank you so much for that. The scarf in the reference image was such a beautiful addition to all the elements already present there. A very important thing about this painting is keeping the darker shades dark enough so the warm oranges and greens would pop off more in contrast to the darker tones. And so keeping this in mind, I used a lot of black from the art philosophy course set. To make certain colors stand out more, I kept darkening some of the features such as the eyes and the darker parts of hair. Most of the colors in this are so similar, so just to make the scarf stand out more, I went ahead with making it a much darker shade of brown. And it's also not as detailed because most of the folds in the fabric are lost in the darkness of that color. Just to give it that extra contrast, I used a lighter but a muted tone for her beret, so the end result isn't too vibrant or too dark and balanced. I recently also did a smaller painting of Alice, of which I posted only a short video as it was for a collaboration with Art Philosophy, and the palettes were just perfect for that painting. In case you want to check that video out, you can by clicking the link on the top right corner of this screen. Adding the warm green trees and leaves in the background was a perfect choice. For a second, I was going to leave the painting without any background, but clearly that would have been a mistake. And even though the surface area of the background is too less here, the trees still add so much character to the painting, which I really love. For the final highlights, I first used white gouache right out of the tube, but then I thought maybe a little warmth might look better in those highlights, and so I mixed the warm primary yellow watercolor with gouache and redid the highlights. Pure white for highlights it's just not always a good idea, especially when the lighting around is so warm. To add some final finishing touches to the painting, I added few orange highlights with gouache on here. I guess it just needed a touch of highlights in the end to look complete. This is all for today's video. I will be painting a different portrait in the next part, the second part of this video, which will be up very soon. So see you then. Bye.